Yes, people. Welcome back to another stream, and we're back with another panel show, man. It's an absolutely stacked panel. I can't introduce everyone one by one like I did last week because we'll be here all day. You know what I mean? We're already late. So this is the panel. Welcome in. Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Please make sure you drop a like on the stream if you're watching on YouTube. And of course, if you are watching on Twitter, big up to you guys. Make sure you drop us a follow. Hopefully you guys are all doing well. City got a win today. Another one. 4-2 win over Crystal Palace. And yeah, listen, I said before we needed to win 9 out of 9 games to win the Premier League. We're 2 for 2 out of those 9 with another 7 to go. And we've got a small matter of Real Madrid. Lots and lots to discuss. Oscar Bob started today, as did Erling Haaland. Kevin De Bruyne with a masterclass. People were saying he was finished. People were saying he was washed, but clearly not so. Julian Alvarez, people want to talk about him as well. You know what I mean? Well, what's he saying? Jack Grealish got a 90 minutes today, which I was quite surprised at. And again, we must speak about Rico Lewis, a goal today. And that little pit bull right now is just absolutely cooking. Big up to everyone that's on the panel. Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Let me start with Luke. First time on the show. Luke, I mean, what did you make of the starting 11, man? Because to be honest with you, I was a little bit surprised to see Oscar Bob in there. No Phil Foden after scoring a hat-trick. We got Rico Lewis starting again. Jack Grealish back out on the left-hand side, and Erling Haaland returns to the side. Was you shocked, Oscar Bob starting?
Yeah, I mean, Oscar was obviously the big shock for everyone. I feel, yeah, it was like you said there, Phil Foden gets a hat-trick midweek, and then we're playing another game of Pep Roulette, aren't we? So it's a bit tough to call game lineups these days over the last few years. But yeah, I mean, you can't really take out players like Rico and that at the minute, especially the way he played midweek as well. Very solid, a little Philip Lahm for me, in my opinion. But yeah, the only real surprise was Oscar Bob maybe on that right-hand side. But he played excellent. I think he showed kind of what his qualities are. And he's just got to keep that up and keeps trying to chip his way into the starting 11 each week. He was incredible for me today.
Yeah, I thought it was superb. You know, and I was quite surprised to see him in the team. Not just because he's not good, just because like the gravity of the game and that, and like he plays so well, and he holds the ball up.
It's always a tough place to go as well, Palace, especially over the years. You know, we've had to like grind out results against them, especially over the last few seasons. And yeah, he dealt with it well. A tough back 3-4 Palace, very physical. And I think he, like the younger ones, especially Bob and Lewis, dealt with the physicality of Palace very, very well. So fair play to him for being such young kids and getting stuck in and getting us a result.
Let me open this up to the floor then, lads. What did you guys make of the starting 11? Do you think he had one eye on the Real Madrid game? Because I did see, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but the guys on Match of the Day, not like the one that they do in the evening, but they do like a daytime show.
Like Final Score.
But yeah, Final Score. Yeah, that's what it's called. And they was trying to basically say, oh, Phil Foden's been dropped. You know what I mean? He scores a hat-trick. And I just watched it and I was just like, do these guys not realise that we're playing Real Madrid on Tuesday, a quarter-final? Like, we have Kevin De Bruyne stepping in. Phil Foden's our most played player this season by minutes. I don't know if Rodri overtook him today. But let me open it up to the floor. Anyone take this? I mean, what's your sort of takes, guys, on the starting 11 and how Pep Guardiola's rotated his side?
Yeah, I thought it was clearly partly in mind of that. Bernardo, I'm just looking on my right now. I think Bernardo, Foden, possibly Kovacic, possibly Edison, and Akanji will all come in on Tuesday, I would expect. So there is one eye, but that's standard. Just going back to what you just said on the BBC or ITV or wherever it was, that's standard, no research thing for those channels nowadays. They're getting bloody worse. But yeah, definitely the lineup would have bared some mind because Oscar Bob did well. He's a good player, but you know, Oscar Bob's not going to be starting Tuesday, or well, extremely unlikely. So there's definitely some mind on Tuesday.
Yeah. I think he picked it and predicted it perfectly. I think the only thing, maybe two players, Foden and Akanji, you know, were rested with a look ahead to Madrid. Everybody else was what I'm calling small spaces FC. Like when the games, when the spaces are tight and there's no place to move, the only person that will be missing, and that's because he was being rested, would be Foden. Foden would be in that side all day. But in tight spaces, Oscar Bob is not a surprise selection for me against Palace. I don't know about you lads, but something about that ground always feels very tight. I don't know if it is narrower than other pitches or whatever, but maybe it's how the ground is set up. The fans seem to be right on top of you, but there never seems to be space on the wings against Palace. And maybe it's partly the way they play. But Oscar, you saw how Oscar Bob and Rico Lewis were moving around in those small spaces, and I think Pep picked the right team for the occasion, and it bore out.
Yeah. So somebody mentioned about the ground, because I think they actually have their photographers rather than like we have them sat behind the advertising boards. There's literally no room for anyone to sit behind there. So the photographers are sat in front of the advertising boards, like effectively on the touch line, just like taking pictures. Obviously, part of it is that they just have it so, like you say, the fans are probably sat like 3-4 yards away from where the touch line is, so it makes it much more difficult. But I think the only other one who I'd maybe say was missing from sort of like a tight spaces point of view is Bernardo, who also was, he came on late in the game. But if you look at, like, I think if you were going against, if that was say Liverpool or something, and you wanted a tight spaces kind of team, Bernardo would start that like all day long. I mean, and he's one of the so it was sort of him, Foden, and Akanji were the three who you would expect to be involved from the start against Madrid, who didn't actually get a start at any point, who didn't get the start today. But I think so. Even with that in mind, like it felt like it was a rotated 11, but it still didn't feel like we'd sort of just, obviously when you see the likes of Oscar Bob starting, you kind of look at it and think, well, we're not taking this game quite as seriously or anything like that. Because I mean, obviously you aren't thrown into a starting 11 by Pep if he doesn't trust you and think that you're absolutely good enough to do it. But I think we've only seen, has he only started one Premier League game before this? Was it the Brentford game that he started? There might have been a second, there might have been another one on top of that. I can't remember. But yeah, so it was very much a bit of I'd say a bold move, but I think we all know how good Oscar Bob is. But I think it was, so considering that, you would have expected maybe the game before Madrid to see a lot of rotation, I still expect 7 or 8 of that team that we put out today to also start against Madrid. Not sure how I feel about, not sure if Jack Grealish getting a full 90 in his first 90 after his injury just before Madrid is the best thing in the world. And maybe you could say the same for John Stones getting a full half, and that doesn't necessarily boat. Given how he looks, he's still very off the pace. Maybe that's not done him any favors in terms of getting a start against Madrid, but he probably will just because it's John Stones. But yeah, we managed to rotate a bit, but still put out a side that was, very, very good.
Yeah, I was a bit surprised that Doku didn't play today. I was expecting him to start and do some of the tactics we did against Villa with the crossing when we had Haaland for this game. And as Joe just said, playing Grealish 90 minutes and Stone 90 minutes, I think that's surprising for all of us. I even, on the Tone show yesterday, suggested that Grealish might even be rested for this game due to him being pivotal in the Madrid game and him playing two times 90 minutes within 3 days is a lot, and it will be the same with Stones. I'm a bit afraid for them when we go to Madrid, and if they can carry on playing 90 minutes there without them, they've been having injury problems all season. So yeah, a few surprises, but I think Pep gambled a bit and paid off again.
He gambled 2 games in a row now, hasn't he? This is the thing, and I think Pep Guardiola actually said this. It was either after, I think it was after the Villa game. He said, "I gamble." Like, not saying he didn't say I gamble, but he basically said, I make these changes. If we win, I look smart. I mean, let's be honest, right? The guy dropped Kevin De Bruyne and Erling Haaland for Aston Villa. If we lose that game or draw, everyone's looking at him saying, "What the hell are you doing?" Yeah. But we win 4-1, and now everyone's like, "Oh my God, great! Kevin De Bruyne rested and kind of paid off as well." It's kind of been paid off because we.
No, it's spot on. If we hadn't won today, we're not saying going, "Oh, that lineup was amazing, well done, Pep." Everyone does the opposite and goes, "Oh, that was a gamble." So it's fine margin. Sometimes Pep can't win. I'm not surprised on Grealish because I think Grealish needs 90 minutes. He's a confidence player. I don't think dipping him in and out helps him. I think he needs to get a rhythm going. And the last 2 games, no coincidence, Grealish is back and we've bagged 4 in each game.
Mm.
You know, I'm sorry, I know people don't like to hear that about Grealish, but the guy was involved in all 4 goals.
Yeah.
The guy had a hand in every single one. The guy makes us tick on that left-hand side. And Oscar Bob did very, very well. Rico, thought again, amazing. Haaland, KDB. I mean, KDB, some people need to go and have a look in the mirror after that. Some of the slander that came out about KDB in the last few days. My word. It was like, you know, some of the stuff I was reading and listening to, it was like, my God, what's happened here? Like, just amazed me. But no, it was, I said to you, LB, I'm not bothered about performances right now.
Mm.
I ain't bothered if games finish 3-2, 4-3 right now. Because, listen, goal difference to me, well, we're not going to be involved in the goal difference.
Mm.
We have to
could
win all
against
that
Liverpool.
games.
We could against Liverpool.
Yeah,
Martin.
technically, not with Arsenal, though. You're not going to turn around and say goals.
Arsenal.
If with Arsenal, no, definitely not. But if they drop off, like goal difference can be the difference between us and Liverpool. We could catch up on them. We're like 2 goals behind them, and they have a game in hand. It would have been 1 goal before we conceded today, so it can be important. Still, we won't catch up on Arsenal on the goal difference. I know that, but it might not be Arsenal.
Liverpool certainly will. Can I ask you a quick question? Let me ask you. Someone mentioned it. I can't remember who mentioned it, but like about Rico Lewis and the link up between Rico and Oscar Bob seems to almost be like kind of telepathic. I really like Rico. I think Rico Lewis gives this team something different. I think he gives us a different dimension. When he gets the ball, he's always turning forward and trying to make either a forward pass or a forward run. He gets himself into the penalty area, gets goals, he'll get assists. And I just really like Rico Lewis in that midfield. Now, clearly there's a time and place. He's still very young and he needs to develop and he'll make mistakes, blah, 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 get the caveats out of the way. But today I thought he was great. And Mulv, I'll come to you on this one. I genuinely think the link up between him and Bob on that right-hand side, I mean, I don't know how many games those guys played together in the academy because Rico, I'm pretty sure, skipped that year. But they seem like they've been playing with each other for years and years and years, man. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, no, today they were amazing. Just beating people with 1-2s and, you know, tough to break down a low block, which Palace inevitably ended up in. Not for the entire match, but for large parts of it, they were really deep. And I don't know, I just feel like the best tonic for complacency, you know, is youth. And I'm surprised we haven't seen more of those two this season, particularly with some of the injuries we've had, like to Stones and KDB being out for a long time. I think I've responded to something Joe Butterfield tweeted earlier about like how.
That's me.
Yeah. good tweet, mate. Good tweet. About Pep. I said something about I'm confused by Pep doubling down on Kyle Walker this season after the way we finished last season. Our strongest team didn't include Kyle, and it was you know, Rico sort of kick-started our season in that the role that Stones eventually perfected, you know, and with Stones out, surprised we didn't see more Rico Lewis. Yeah, so that's it in a nutshell. More Rico Lewis, please.
I completely agree. I don't understand how. I think it's this year in particular. I think 2020, because obviously he played some games during the Club World Cup, didn't he, Lewis? So he did get some games in the first half of the season. But it feels like since the turn of the year, despite for me Kyle Walker having some really very shaky form, probably down to some personal issues he's got going on in his own life that are absolutely of his own making and should be like, you know, would get most players, like, you know, most managers would give a player going through what he's going through some time out just to get him away from sort of the limelight, if anything, sort of let him get his head straight and then come back. And fair play to Walker for just getting his head down and just playing through it. But I think there's been plenty of opportunities this season where you can look at a performance that Walker's put in and go, nah, we've got to give someone else a go now. And I think that, as Mulv has just said there, with Stones as well being out of the team, I've looked at the team so many times and thought, why are we picking Akanji to be the guy who goes into the middle when we've got a player who is there, who did it last season for a good month or two, who is been doing it since the youth levels, just doing that sort of inverted fullback thing that John Stones was doing, that eventually became him moving him out of centre back rather than right back. But we've got a player there who's tailor made for the into midfield role, and instead he's been trying to sort of fit the square peg of Akanji into that midfield rather than just letting Lewis do what he can naturally do very well. And
can I come in on that? Because I spoke about that very point, Joe, on my watch along today, and I don't know whether this is the case. It's just a theory, but like, you know, sometimes when like you're trying to fix something. Like I don't know if this is how Pep thinks. It's probably not, but like it's just a theory that like sometimes you look at someone like Rico Lewis and Oscar Bob and go, surely the fix to my problem is not this guy who's come through the academy, this 19-year-old. You look at like your Akanjis who've come through Dortmund. You look at your Doku's who you signed for 50 million. You say, no, these are probably the guys. When actually sometimes they're staring you in the face. And Rico Lewis, before the Arsenal game, had only played in 3 matches in 2024 this season. And he comes in at Arsenal. And everyone expects him to like be proper rusty in Arsenal because it's his first game for so long and he gets to one of the best teams in England. And he just absolutely slams it against Villa, slams it against today. And then that leads us to ask these questions as to like, why has he not been in the team for longer? Because he just
no, he doesn't. And he's been fabulous. But remember, the other times he's played before that, he wasn't overly performing like that either.
That's true, but he
wasn't doing that. Villa away, Arsenal away. No, I know he was. I'm not saying he's not been fabulous, but be honest, when he came on against Arsenal, not everyone was going to perform that way. Now he's proved some people wrong 1,000%. But I had on my lot, people were saying he's not strong enough, he's not good enough, he's not strong enough, he needs to bulk up, he's not ready to run the midfield. So it swings and roundabouts, I guess.
Is that not because because I know that when he was playing sort of in the first half of the season, he wasn't being played as a fullback moving into the middle. He was just outright playing as a centre mid. He was playing as like one of the 8s or one of like, or as as part of a double pivot next to Rodri or whoever it was. Like, I think the Arsenal game where Rodri was suspended last season, like he did play as part of a double pivot, didn't he, rather than actually being it. And it's like what kind of my personal point of view has been is just like Kyle Walker has been in some very droppable form this season, and we've not even like entertained the idea of like letting this academy prospect right back who we've got, who's shown already. Maybe, you know, you can maybe look at his performances in the first. I personally think he was absolutely fine in the first half of the season. But even if you think that he wasn't great in the first half of the season, you could look back at last season and go, he's clearly shown that he is of the level to do it. And it's been really sort of odd that Pep hasn't even, until this run of games that we're in now, he hasn't even really looked to use him at right back at all this season because Kyle Walker's just been a lock-in no matter what.
It is interesting.
I wouldn't. Yeah, and it's mad really that Walker, in my mind right now, is third choice, maybe right back. It'd be interesting to see if Rico starts at Real Madrid, because I tell you now, if he starts at Real Madrid, which is a massive call, I don't think he will, but if he is in that lineup, I mean, that's enormous. If he's getting the shout over, even though there's injuries, if he gets the shout over those other players that can play that role, whether you think they play them better or not, that's enormous. But yeah, we'll
Vinicius
see.
Jr. at Bernabeu. I mean, Vinicius Jr. at Bernabeu, like he could ruin Rico Lewis' career. Like that, it wouldn't be worth playing him, and I don't think he will. I think he will revert to the back line with Akanji on the right. He'll have Diaz, Stones, and then Guardiola. And I think
if Guardiola's fit.
Yeah, what about Guardiola's not fit?
It's just a niggle, right? It was precaution. Well, Lewis did a quote about it, saying it's just a bit of
he left Lincoln though.
Yeah, Pep said it's an injury. Like he did say it's a slight.
I don't know with injuries anymore because Walker was meant to be the one due back quick. Stones was the one out for 2 months, and it swapped round. Yeah. So Guardiola might be out for 3 months. And I don't know what goes on with injuries anymore. Tone, you know what that's like. You get news and you're like, yeah, and the next minute, no, they're out for 3 months. Like,
Yeah, the
what?
Harlem one was the classic when we were away in
Yeah.
Dubai or somewhere, and all the media was saying that morning, "Oh, he's not due to train because Pepper told him the day before," and then it's a few days away, and then he turns up 3:00 in the afternoon training. There you go.
It isn't.
So, yeah, you're right,
well,
Martin.
we'll have to see, because like if Gvardiol's out and Ake's still out and Walker's still out, then do we have any other option?
I have a feeling that Walker will be back, like the way Pep was talking about him in press conference. I think
Walker wants to be back.
Yeah.
Walker
I think
wants to be back.
he will be there,
back,
like on an injection or something. Like I think he will play.
No,
Sure.
don't do that either. Don't stick injections in him.
I think he will. I think he will play that.
Jesus.
I wouldn't. I'd be fine with injecting him, get him through that game,
Yeah.
and then get him through. Get him through.
You've just killed him, Joe. You've
That's
just
fine.
ended his career.
That's fine. I won't go in the summer anyway. Just get him through the 2 Madrid games, and then you can and then Rico Lewis can do the rest of the season. That's fine by me. I'm not bothered.
It's mad, isn't it? I mean, to be fair, if he does play Rico Lewis, I mean, what a moment that would be for Rico Lewis if is he 19 or is he 20 now?
19.
He's 19,
19 years old, stepping out at the Bernabeu. That would be just an incredible. I mean, yes, it does scare me playing against Vinny Jr., but like,
Can I ask a question on injuries? Can I ask a question? Because we all witnessed what happened during the international break when John Stones played 2 games back to back in the space of 3 or 4 days. Are we lambasting Pep the way we did Southgate if he plays John Stones in 2? If there's other defenders available, if he's not backed into a corner of having no choice but to play John Stones, if there are 4 other defenders available and he still plays Stones, knowing how injury prone he is, and he goes down with an injury against Madrid, are we all sat here saying that Pep Guardiola should know he can't play John Stones in 2 games in a week?
No, there's a big difference on playing Real Madrid at the Bernabeu in the quarterfinal of Champions League and then a friendly in the international. Yeah. I mean, no, definitely not. And we don't have other options. So it's not even about that's not even a question. If Guardiola's injured as well, we're on the bare minimum of defenders. I mean, if Stones get injured in that game, which there's a higher possibility, he plays 90 minutes again. I mean, it's pretty dark. We have problems then going onwards. So,
well, I mean, Southgate, the waistcoat wanker, had a few more centre backs on that bench that he could have put on, didn't he? So,
especially Branthwaite, Vincent Kompany. I don't know if you've seen Vincent Kompany today. He's been raving about Branthwaite in his post-match press conference, saying he's absolutely mega. He's going to be a superstar type thing. So. He should have probably played in. But listen, very, very interesting. I want to come to some super chats, and I want to speak about Kevin De Bruyne, the finished Kevin De Bruyne. Guys, make sure you have smashed a like on the stream if you've not done so already. We got over 800 people tuned in, 350 on the YouTube, and over 500 watching live on Twitter right now. So hopefully you guys are enjoying the show. Please make sure you drop a like if you are watching on YouTube. LB says, boys, on never a foul. Proper going in on Gvardiol. I really, really, really do not get it. He's been class all season. People are just bots. It's sad. I've seen more to it. It's just ridiculous. I think people are trying to force City sign flops when Gvardiol's not going to flop. Was he his greatest today? No, but was it disastrous performance? Absolutely not.
Mate, Gvardiol's been an unreal signing. I don't understand anybody who's not seen. He's been so good.
He's a defensive version of Haaland in terms of a signing for me. The sky's the limit with the guy.
Yeah. Well, when the fact he's playing at left back when he's naturally either a left-sided centre back, and he's pulling up the performances that he is, I mean, says a lot about him. He hasn't come in and complained and said, "Oh, I'm preferring to play centre back like a few others might have." He's got the job done, played left back, and he's been incredible for me.
I agree.
Especially in his first season when look at the players like Ake and stuff when they came in the first seasons haven't got a plan. He's come in, hit the ground running, and he's adapted very, very well.
He will be immense for us, 100%.
And he's only 21.
He's only 21. It's quite frightening. It really is. Big up to Flaw says, is Martin out delivering Uber Eats? Well, if he is, drop me something off, man, because I'm absolutely starving, man. Absolutely starving.
Hey, I wish I was. Friggin' wish I was.
Big up to Tinsay, says Silva, Rico, Nunez, or Kovacic next to KDB, and Foden goes out to right wing for the Madrid game. We'll speak a bit about Madrid a little bit more towards the end of the show when I come on to Kevin De Bruyne in a sec, though. Could Rico actually grow into a Gundogan replacement? I think, to be honest with you, I don't know about you guys, but I think it's probably too early to say what Rico Lewis is going to turn into, because he's very unique in the way that he plays. He's very, very unique. And I wouldn't even, whilst yes, Philip Lahm is the obvious conversation, he gets further forward than Philip Lahm did when Lahm pushed into midfield. So I think at the moment, still early days. We've not seen a great deal from him this year. I just think let him keep growing under the guidance of Pep Guardiola and just see what happens. I don't think he's an out-and-out right back at this very moment, because I don't think he's physical enough. Could he play right back and invert into midfield? Possibly. But I just think let's just keep waiting and just see how he develops. And at the moment, we're all enjoying his progress. Big up for the super chats. Appreciate it. Listen, lads, I want to turn it on to Kevin De Bruyne, the finished Kevin De Bruyne. I said before the watch-along today, I think he needed a big game, because obviously the last couple of games he's played, he's looked tired, and it's like, oh my God, people have been getting on his case saying he's finished, he's washed, we need to cash in the summer. He didn't play in the last game. Phil Foden was given the keys. Today he come in and he was absolutely phenomenal. Tone, let me start off with you. Kevin De Bruyne, first of all, what do you make of him today? What have you been making of the comments people have been saying? And looking ahead towards the Madrid game, do you think he plays in that game? He's played today. He's only got a couple of days rest. Does he start at the Bernabeu as well?
He was amazing today. Outstanding today. That first goal is ridiculous. The other one he got as well was terrific. One of the only players who could finish that way. I'm still not quite sure how he hit the ball in that way. Amazing goal. But the first one's unbelievable. Yes, he starts at the Bernabeu. The problem with football, as we all know, is how reactionary it is. I think Martin touched on it and has done in other shows. I know that, if KDB, he's had a couple of bad games. So like you, Joe, said earlier, he's washed and all this sort of stuff. But there are people saying, well, he can go in the summer. It's bloody ridiculous. And not disrespecting Rico at all, but now Rico's amazing because he's been good for a few games. And he is a good player. There's no doubt and a good prospect. But you see what I'm saying about the up and downs of football and social media and so on. De Bruyne's always been good. He's an amazing player, and I hope he stays. And to answer your question, he absolutely starts at the Bernabeu. And if Foden is in the middle with him or out the right, I don't know. But De Bruyne starts every single key game, in my view.
Yeah, let me open that up to the floor. Si, what's your views, bro?
On Kevin, or on the Bernabeu game if he plays?
Both. So
before the game today, I actually had a funky feeling that Kevin wouldn't play. So I actually on FPL bought Foden instead of Kevin, which was fucking stupid now when I look back at it. But because for the Madrid game, I was thinking that we probably have the same tactics as last year. And I thought that Foden actually wouldn't play that game. So he would have played 90 minutes today, and Kevin got a full rest again. And then he would have played Kovacic, Roger, and Kevin in the middle, with Bernardo and Grealish on the wings for that game, which is what I think is the most safe choice for the game. But now when Foden didn't play, then I have to figure out what will Pep do. Could he even full send it and go with both Kevin and Foden in the middle? I don't think so. I think that's too risky. Would he play Foden on the wing and leave either Bernardo or Grealish out? I'm not sure. I think those are the best options for at Bernabeu for control and keeping the game tight.
Could you not play Kevin a little bit deeper though? Because Kev was asked today after the game, said, "Can you and Foden play together in the same team?" And he said, "Yes." He played with David Silva. He's played with Gundogan. Could you not? Because he said basically when he was with Silva was the guy who stayed a little bit further up. De Bruyne was the one that done the running, and then De Bruyne said, "Well, now it's kind of the other way around." Could you not play either you play Kevin De Bruyne a little bit deeper and just play a little bit more of a sort of like a quarterback position, and let Phil Foden have the role further advanced, or you swap it round and say Kevin can have the free role and then put more responsibility onto Foden. Can Kevin De Bruyne and Foden play together in the same team against the big oppositions?
Yeah.
Is it more about like the pressing of Kev and what he can do? Because like Kev obviously played today. I think it was mentioned that he played next to Alvarez today, and obviously Alvarez is like, people don't like Alvarez in centre mid for a multitude of reasons. But let's be honest, he's doing pretty fucking well there, considering that it's not his actual position. But his job ultimately is just to press. He's just got, all he has to do is just cover for all that pressing that Kevin De Bruyne, at his age after his injury that he's just had, is not going to do. And I think that Foden, obviously we all love Foden and what he does, but I'm not sure that if you play Foden and De Bruyne in the middle together, that Foden's going to do that level of pressing that Alvarez does to cover for the fact that Kev is probably not going to do. So I'm probably going to be someone who, I'm going to probably get some abuse for this, but after the Villa game midweek, I actually said that I wouldn't play Kev against Madrid. Like if you can only put one of them in the middle, and I'm not putting Foden right, I'm putting Foden in his best position on current form against Madrid. Like he's our best player at the moment when he's on, like, in the form that he's in. I'm not putting him out on the wing and compromising what he's best at. I'm putting him in his best position, and if that means that Kev, who played really well today and was really good, but in the games against the bigger opposition, which are the last few that he's had where he hasn't been quite so effective, I'm not convinced that he pulls out a repeat Palace performance against Madrid at the Bernabeu. Whereas I'm absolutely convinced that Foden will do something like what he has been doing for the last few months against Madrid at the Bernabeu. That's just on current form. I'm doing it. I know Kev's a big moments player. He's like a talisman player who can just pull a mad goal, like that first goal today. He can just pull that out of his arse from nowhere because he's that level of world-class player that he can do it. But Foden scored like a pretty, Foden did that like against Villa as well. Like Foden is scoring these kinds of goals, and I just think play your current your current best attacking player in his best position, and at the moment that's Foden. And if Pep's decided that the two of them can't play in midfield together, and I very much doubt that Madrid at the Bernabeu is where he's going to do that, then if one of them's got to sit out, I'm sorry, Kev, you're coming on in the 70th minute to change the game if it needs changing. Like I'm putting Phil out from the start.
So who are you playing with, Kevin? Sorry, are you playing with Phil then? I'd
probably put Bernardo on the right because that's what we did last year. I think again pressing is going to be important. In the middle, I'm probably Kovacic and Rodri, and then putting Grealish left, Haaland up front. Like I'm going for, like, against Madrid. I'm going for control. So if I've got to go for Kovacic and Rodri in midfield with Foden playing ahead of the two of them, then yeah, cool.
Not only control but legs. Yeah. I think the big fear against Madrid is there's a quick pass and then one over the top to Vinicius, right? You've got to be in the backs of these midfielders so they cannot turn with the ball.
You look at their midfield though; they have a large amount of legs in that. What is it? Yeah. Tchouaméni, Camavinga, Valverde, then Jude Bellingham just in front of them. Yeah. That's a midfield that if
They're on 9 days rest.
Exactly, and I can see where Joe's coming from in terms of that press as well. If you have, say, De Bruyne and Foden in the middle, and then you've got the likes of Tchouaméni, Camavinga, who kind of sit back deeper, and then you have Valverde, who has the legs just to continuously run, it could get overrun very, very quickly, especially with the likes of, say, Vinicius over the top as well. It could just be a very, very sporadic game.
We can't drop Kevin for Madrid at Bernabeu. We can't. Like, he have been scoring and assisting, I think it's 22 GNA in the last 20 games, knockout games in the Champions League or something. Like, we can't drop Kevin for this game. We saw last year he pulled one out of his ass, as Joe said, and gave us a draw. I think he's needed for this game, and I don't think we can play Foden and Kevin at the Bernabeu, but I do think we can play him at Etihad, both of them in midfield, with Grealish and Bernardo giving the control on the wings, and then Rodri and Stones behind them. That would be plausible, but we need a draw at least at the Bernabeu, and I don't think you can play both of them there in the midfield at least, and I would not play Foden on the wing in that game either. And we need Kevin for that game.
What? So you
So
don't
would
even
you
play
drop
Foden?
Foden? Sorry.
So that's what I said. I thought that Foden would have played 90 minutes today, and then you played Kevin in Madrid. Now, when Foden was rested, he definitely will play, but I don't know where, and I don't I don't like to see him on the wing, which means that Pep probably will play him in the middle with Kevin, or at least rest Kevin. But I still think that's a mistake. I think we should definitely be starting Kevin for this game. So that's why I did my whole appeal thing. It really screwed me. Me and Pep is not on wavelength anymore, apparently.
It's such a difficult one.
Yeah.
Because you do this. And then the trouble is, because it's like we've said before, go back to the Arsenal game. We're all crying out for creativity. And again, we all went Kovacic and Rodri together. Gives you that stable. But the trouble is at the Bernabeu, they scored in the first 10 minutes. Well, that's your game plan gone then. Because then you got to start coming out then.
Do we really? Just 1-0?
Yeah.
I don't think we need to go out. I don't think we need to.
Because this is not Real Madrid of last season.
No.
People need to realise that. This is not Real Madrid of last season. Real Madrid are on fire at the minute. The last thing is one game all season.
They're not playing good. They're not playing good, Martin. But you watch them play. They don't play good.
Yeah, because of what side they're flying. Honestly, they're flying, mate.
They're not playing good. Whenever I watch them play,
they're flying on paper, but the results by all
playing
accounts,
good.
the performances by all accounts been pretty meh. Like they're still going. They're going behind in games. And like how many last minute Jude Bellingham winners are we seeing all over Twitter? Like they're not like battering everyone 4-5-0. I don't think
they are grinding results out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are as well.
And that's why I think we need, as Mo said before, we need legs in midfield and to grind out against a team like Madrid, and especially at their ground. And I think that Kev's a lot of things, but currently he's not legs at the moment. Like we're not seeing those sort of. Do you remember basically it's been a hallmark of his career, hasn't it? That like you'll get to the 90th minute, and he'll just do some lung busting run that just like you would expect someone who's only been on the pitch for 5 minutes to do. I'm not seeing him do much of that since the injury, to be honest. Like that's
no. Again, is that recent? Are we doing recency bias? Because go back when he first come back against Huddersfield, we were talking about how he's 2 stone lighter, a lot fitter, moving around a lot quicker. And now because he's kind of had that niggle at the time, which trouble is Pep keeps everything so close to his chest. We're now saying he's got no legs when 4 weeks ago he was the fittest thing everything else has looked in years. So are we doing it on recency bias a little bit? And that's not to end. That's just I think we do that as fans a lot. Like Tom made the point about Rico. Now it's we don't drop Rico ever again. Well, if we go and buy all these players we're going to buy in the summer, Rico's not getting in the team. So which one do you want?
Is this not just form though? Like, is recency bias not form? Like, I'm picking players for my game at the Bernabeu that is in 3 days' time based on form.
We'll go back to Foden at Arsenal then. He was crap.
Everyone was crap again. Like what? Like Arsenal played men behind the ball all game. Like I'm not, but you know what I mean. Like this is the thing though, isn't it? Like we're talking about. Kev's played a lot of football since that game at Huddersfield, and it's starting to show. Like we all thought that he probably wouldn't go back into playing every single game because of the injury that he had, and I think he played pretty much every single game since then. Like a lot of them starts. I think Kev now is kind of at the point where certainly for the rest of this season, we've got to just like maybe Kev's just a 1 start a week kind of player now for the rest of the season. Maybe like I personally I think that you've got to manage his minutes, and obviously Madrid is. A lot of people would say Madrid is a game he manages minutes so that he can be in those games.
What's everybody's general vibe on the approach? Do we need to go and try and win like by a couple of goals, or do we just need to keep it close and bring it back?
Close. Shithousery.
Yeah.
Then I'm going for legs. Legs.
Like,
so you wouldn't play KDB either?
I'd bring him off the bench. He's got 30 minutes in him for sure, but I wouldn't start him. No.
When he played 90 minutes today, I can tend to agree. I can see the argument, and as Martin said, if they go 1-0 up, I don't think we have to like go after it. Like if we go back to the Etihad with just a 1 goal difference defeat, I still think we'll beat them with at least 2 goals at the Etihad.
Is that recency bias? So, like when I polled everybody just now, Like, are we all just saying don't go for it because last season we didn't go for it and it worked out, or have we actually thought it through?
Well, also the fact that we're playing at the Etihad second game, and I just think, like, you know, if you go there and get a 0-0 or maybe you get a 1-0 win or something, like I think everyone will back City to go through to the semi-finals if we've got the second game at the Etihad. That's my take on it. And to be honest with you, even if we lost 1-0, I don't think it'd be the end of the world. Obviously, it's not a great result. Don't get me wrong, but like 1-0. I wouldn't be begging for the team to be pushing really far forward and try and get an equaliser at the third about risk conceding a second goal. I'd just be like 1-0. I'll back us to overturn that.
I just don't feel that we've got the same sort of control as we had last season. So
that's why I want Kovacic.
Yeah,
that's my point. There's no guarantees we're coming back to the Etihad and sticking 3 and 4 past them again, because we're not exactly doing that on the regular at the moment.
But what would you do, Martin? What would you set up as?
It's a weird one, because I was this Kovacic and Rodri. You know, I was always play Kovacic and Rodri in the big games, love it. And then I'm not sure it was the Arsenal game that was like took me off it a little bit. I don't know, because that Arsenal game watched it back a few times and I don't know what it was, whether it was the game after internationals, but we just looked we looked compact and we looked decent, but there was no creativity. And that was at home.
Ruined it though, didn't they?
That's Arsenal.
No, they did. But to me, I'd probably go. I'd still want some creativity. See, personally, I'd go with Foden and Kevin De Bruyne, but because I do think Foden can do that. But I think Foden can do that, chasing down. I think he can.
Yeah. He's not going to do that, though, is he?
And the other thing is, people ain't going to like this. Foden's going to give me more for the through ball than what Alvarez will. Alvarez chases all day, but he did now else other than chase today. And I know that he's not going to be liked by a lot of people, and I'll get agendas. It's not, but my issue with Alvarez has never been his work rate. It's never been his tracking down. It's when he gets the ball in that position, he doesn't do anything with it, really.
He's got to touch like a trampoline as well, to be fair.
Yeah, I think the reason why Alvarez, but that's the thing, because Pepper's got to this point where obviously if you're going to play Kev in the middle, he thinks that having Alvarez alongside him to do the running that Kev won't or can't do, that's what you said. So in a way, like, yeah, you're right that Alvarez didn't offer much, but I don't think it was really his job to do much else than just that pressing today. And I think that, but that's why I think. Obviously, I wouldn't be shocked if we did see, Kev in the middle and Foden on the right, with Bernardo in the middle next to the two. That could well be the three, the 2-8s in the right wing that we see against Madrid by any means. But I just think if it was me, or if we're just sort of all agreed that it is going to be one or the other between Phil and Kev, and the other one maybe sits on the bench, I'd say maybe Foden.
I think both will start. Sorry. Sorry.
Could they play like Foden on the right and then Bernardo in the midfield with Kevin and Rodri and no Kovacic?
Yeah.
I mean, wasn't that what we saw against Copenhagen for the first 20 minutes? I was really drunk for that game, but wasn't that the lineup for that game?
He could do that. He could play Bernardo in the middle.
Because we played really good there, right? We haven't really played in that formation since then.
I think you want Bernardo helping with Vinny.
Yeah.
True.
That's what we did last year.
I don't think you want Foden chasing Vinny up and down the pitch.
No, exactly. Also, if you don't have Walker and would be a country, you definitely want Bernardo helping. Yeah, that's a good point. But if you have to fit in both Kevin and Foden, I think maybe Foden would probably play on the right.
Or
just because I've got to jump
in given 90 minutes, and you play Foden on the left. Go on, Martin. Sorry, mate.
Yeah, I was just going to say, can I just remind everyone, LB, you'll know this because we did a show on this. Where's this suddenly play Kevin Alvarez come from when 4 weeks ago, nobody wanted that, and that was the worst thing going, and we were shoehorning Alvarez in?
Nah, no one wants Alvarez for not in like a disrespectful way, but like no one surely wants to pick Alvarez.
No, but do you know what I mean? But now, and that's not. This is what I mean. I'm not sure. This seems a real weird season. And I do think this season we're like, that play's had a really good 90 minutes. Right, I'm following him now, and here we go, and I'm on his case. And then that player has another 90 minutes. Right, I'm following him now. He has a bad 90 minutes, so we're scrapping him and taking him out back. And we're a bit choppy changing this season. And it just feels very weird. Because honestly, LB, we did a show in it. Go back 4 weeks ago, nobody was putting the KDB and Alvarez in the midfield together. Nobody. We were all saying he was being shoehorned. And now we're saying maybe it's an option for Real Madrid. Like,
No,
that's not.
No.
All right, maybe I misunderstood. I don't know what to. Do you know what? It's Pep Guardiola. He might play bloody Nunez.
Yeah, no.
It's Pep.
I was just going to say, to be honest.
No way.
Tom made a great part on Twitter. When does Nunez ever play now? Is Nunez done for the season?
If he doesn't start,
I don't know where you go with Nunez.
If he doesn't start home to Luton, Nunez, then questions need to be asked. I said before Palace, if he doesn't start this week, those 3 games, then I know it's his first season and all that. And sorry, LB, I know we're jumping on to a different point.
That's all right, don't worry about it.
Questions have to be asked about Nunez and his future already in the summer, because there is already talk about him possibly moving on already. And if he doesn't start at Luton, then or against Luton.
Yeah, well, we all know
start Alvarez,
buy, don't we? We all know he's a panic buy. I mean, that's the occasion. I think he's a good player. Oh, you're laughing, Martin, but it's true.
No, because then keep that rhetoric all season. We don't do panic buys.
Of course, we fucking do panic buys.
I think we did on this occasion.
Yeah, he's a good player.
He's a good player. Yeah.
He just where does
I think
he
next season's where we'll know with Nunez. I think not everyone jumps into it. I mean, but honestly, it's been shocking, like the amount of football that like Gvardiol and Doku, they've played so much football for people who have just joined the club, like in this summer just gone. Like Nunez is actually having more of a kind of normal new signing kind of season, like for we're all. But because Gvardiol and Doku are doing their thing, like we're all sort of looking at it, going like, oh, this is a worry that Nunez isn't playing football now, and it's like, well, we're in a title running at this point. Like I think even if he doesn't play against if he doesn't start any game between now and the end of the season, it's because every single game between now and the end of the season absolutely must win. Like I don't really want to see us weaken the team where, unless I don't know, we're playing against like a League 2 side or something. Like I don't want to see us play a weakened team. I want us to play our strongest 11, and Nunez isn't in it at the moment. So I think next season, if there's no movement, and if we sign that, it's more worrying for Nunez maybe that we're looking at like 2 or 3 midfielders to join in the summer, or a couple of midfielders anyway. That probably says more about it than anything else.
Yeah, there's no way Nunez is starting Tuesday, or Alvarez. I don't think either of those two will be starting. I would be amazed if either of them two start.
No, I agree. Listen, I want to turn it on to our final topic. But before we do, I know Martin's got to go. I want to go around the panel just really quickly and get your midfield 3 and your attacking 3 for Tuesday. Luke, you're coming first, bro. Midfield 3 and your attacking 3, Real Madrid on Tuesday.
Why come to me first? I think it's Rodri, midfield 3. Rodri, Foden, and De Bruyne. I think I've got my head set on it.
Yeah, good lad, Luke. Good lad. Yeah, go on.
Then the forward 3 is Grealish, Haaland, Bernardo. I think Bernardo comes in on that right-hand side to then drop in a cover, Foden and De Bruyne.
Okay, nice. Okay,
I think we just lose a bit of width. Sorry to interrupt. I think we just lose a bit of width on the right, but we compensate with Jack on that other side.
Okay, cool. So you're full sending it. Si, what are you doing, bro?
Is it what I think or what Pep thinks?
Yeah,
of
what you do. If you was the manager, you're Pep Guardiola, what are you doing?
Ignore minutes played this weekend. We won't get into the whole KDB playing 90 minutes and stuff. Just what you would do.
I would do Kovacic, Rodri, Kevin. People are gonna hate me so much, and I would do Grealish, Haaland, Bernardo.
Wow. So okay.
Si's gone pragmatic. Si's going for a 0-0.
No Foden. Best player.
Foden will play, but that's what I would have done.
Okay. Joe?
I'm going Rodri, Kovacic, Foden, Grealish, Haaland, and Bernardo. I'm doing basically size, but I'm swapping out KDB for Foden.
Okay. Tom?
I think it's the same as Luke. I'm going Rodri, Foden, De Bruyne, and then left Grealish, right Bernardo, up top Haaland.
Full send situation. Like it. Move.
Yeah, I'm same as Joe. Just swap Kovacic and KDB.
No KDB. Insane.
I would definitely bring him on, but
Okay.
I wouldn't start him.
And Martin.
I'm out
Wait,
now.
what are you
I'm
doing?
just screw it. I'm full sending it. Screw it.
Full sending.
Rodri, Foden, KDB, Grealish, Haaland, Doku.
Doku.
Oh,
Doku shout.
oh,
We've got a perfect row
No, I'm
three on
sorry.
the cameras. Yeah.
That front three against Villa was the most balanced we've looked in a long time. I loved it.
They were
And I want to say it
terrible.
again.
This isn't Etihad and this isn't Villa.
You've just told me Madrid have been crap, so we'll go for it. Don't be swapping now, Si.
I can see what you're saying there, Martin. Good point. But my point still stands well. This ain't Etihad and this ain't Villa. If I see that when I stand in the Bernabeu, I will literally crap myself, I think. But
We'll have to wait and see on Tuesday, won't we?
we will.
Yeah, he's not going to do anything that I've just said. Trust me.
LB,
Yeah.
I've got to say, this is why Si gets on your shows with bloody sunglasses and stuff on, because he covers all bases, and then he'll come
I
up
know.
after going, yeah, I was right, I told you,
Yeah, I
mate.
know he does. I've sussed him out, man. Don't you worry about it, bro.
what's
Don't worry,
what's yours?
I'm getting the sunglasses, everything ready for the return when he gets back. And you're like, yeah. Right,
Yeah.
take care, lads.
See you later,
Take
Martin.
care, man.
See you later.
Yes,
See you in a
Bye,
bit.
mate.
mine would be
Full send.
I play. No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't. I want to, but it's just not. It's Kovacic and Rodri.
Do it.
I do.
Go
Do
Oscar
it.
Bob, LB. Throw a wild one.
I do KDB in the middle.
Yeah, do
I
it.
do Foden left, which I don't think anyone said.
Ooh.
Bernardo right. Haaland up
No
top.
Grealish. We need.
Oh, mate, I'm not dropping Grealish in this current
I
form.
don't fucking know, man. I don't know, boy.
Don't they have 4 players? Don't they have 4 players who's like it's Vinny, Kavinga, and Bellingham, who's on the yellow? If like we need Grealish for this game to like shithouse them into a second yellow.
But we also need
like
Foden
that would be
and KDB and everyone else. Like,
but can you imagine like Grealish, like Pep talking to Grealish, say, okay, they have 4 players, go shithouse every single one of them until they get a yellow card. So they will come back to Etihad without those 4 players.
I know. It's difficult. It is. It's someone's
The
getting
strat,
dropped, which is difficult. Man.
Grealish is good at many things, and one of them is shithousery, and that could be a tactic. Like, be like you don't score enough goals, you don't assist enough, but you can assist the team with the big assist of the century.
I know it's the wrong decision. That's why I'm not manager. Bro. That's why
he did it against Carl last year, didn't he? So
yeah.
But I think the most important thing, it doesn't matter what we're all saying, this front 6, Alvarez will get shoehorned in somewhere.
No.
Please, no.
I don't think that. I
fucking hope not.
I don't think so. No, move. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. Listen, guys, I want to turn it on to our last topic of the show before we wrap up. Before we do, big up to everyone that is tuned in. Over 1,200 people tuned in now cross-platform. 450 on YouTube and over 750 on Twitter, or X it's called now. So big up to you guys. If you're watching on YouTube, please make sure you drop a like and make sure you subscribe. Big up to Piplup, says we need Hamza and Patrick on the panel. Much love. Appreciate you, Piplup. Thank you very much for the super chat. Raphael, a couple of people wanted me to show this comment, says Real Madrid players 1 yellow card away from suspension for the second leg would be Jude Bellingham, Vinicius, Camavinga, and Tchouaméni. I think ours is just Diaz, if I'm correct there. So
wasn't that
Agent Grealish?
Didn't that get cancelled?
It did. Diaz's one. He's not, is he? I didn't think
Diaz.
You know.
I'm pretty sure Diaz is, but maybe someone in the chat can let us know. CB says, resting Kev, you'll be crying for him on Tuesday, says CB.
He'll come off the bench.
Off the bench, there you go. And Alan says, Nunez is awful. Complete panic buy. There you go from Al. Right,
Yeah.
final topic of the show before we wrap up. And of course, if any of you guys need to dip, then just feel free to leave. But final topic: defending. Our defending this year has not been anywhere near where I thought it was going to be. I keep saying it, and I'm happy to admit it, even though it's embarrassing. But genuinely, at the start of this season, I thought that we might get close to the Chelsea record of 14 goals or whatever it was conceded. I didn't think we beat it, but I thought we'd get close. And it's just been nowhere near that. Our defensive levels have dropped off. Diaz, in my opinion, has dropped off. He's nowhere near the level of his all-time best. I do think that since the Club World Cup is improved, but I still think that he's quite a way to go until his best. We all know about Kyle Walker, the drop off there. John Stones have been in and out of the team, and just various different things, So I want to come to you guys about the defending. How do you sort of differentiate now between the Premier League and the Champions League? Because I don't know if you guys know, but for me, I'm kind of accepting a little bit like the vulnerabilities in the Premier League, because I accept that we're going to have to be vulnerable because we need to go and win football matches. But the Champions League is clearly very, very different. You need to be much more solid. Most people have gone for Kovacic, other than a couple of you guys who've gone full send mode. We are going to have to be a lot more solid. Luke, let me start off with you, man. Tuesday, let me just ask you a blunt question. Does the way we've been defending scare you, or do you think that when push comes to shove, we will sort that out on Tuesday?
I think the mentality of us, we will kind of lock in and defend well. But I think, first of all, I think a matter of kind of the inconsistency of an actual back four. I think sometimes, obviously, we've had the injuries this season come and go. Walker kind of not being at his best. And in terms of Real Madrid, it does worry me with the players that they do have going forward if there is inconsistencies in defence, i.e. the likes of Bellingham and Vinicius, who can turn it on a sixpence and get a result for them. But yeah, the defending is worrying, but I do think when kind of these games come around that they do switch on. I think the Premier League and the Champions League, it's two completely different aspects. I think in the Premier League, you have a lot of teams who are going to have 10 men sitting behind the ball and just catch on that break, which is where we've been caught out a lot. But I feel like in the Champions League, sometimes in terms of defending, a lot of teams will just go for it in spaces, then do open up for both sides, in my opinion anyway. So I think the only way we've been caught out defensively really is just being caught on the break a lot. Obviously today, that goal that Mateta scored, kind of no one was switched on really, and then they've just got through straight away, for me anyway.
Yeah, and you'd like to think that type of goal wouldn't happen on Tuesday, because we wouldn't be... I doubt we'd be that high up the pitch for one, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I like you say, I think everything will just be dialed in. But again, let me just open up to you guys. What's your take on the defending this year? Do you think it's going to improve as we get into these Champions League games? Maybe move, throw that at you.
Yeah, I think we were spoiled last year. That there was something special going on at the back. When we didn't give up that many counterattacks, but when we did, they always got snuffed out by some really good defending with running back towards our own goal. Yeah, it's been. I don't think we should be shocked, is what I'm saying, that it's dipped a bit. I'm with you guys that again, but going back to Kyle Walker, that when the four centre back thing was really looking imperious and impenetrable, we went back to Kyle, and now he started the season really well. If you remember, a lot of people forgot that he started really well, and then tailed off. I don't know. I was writing down who I thought my four would be for Tuesday. Are we getting to that or what?
Yeah, fire in. Yeah.
I wish I knew what was going on with Vardy all today. Was he actually injured or not?
He did pick up an injury. Pep, well, I'll try and find the quotes, but
I think he limped out, didn't he? From what I've seen.
Yeah, he was after the game as well. He was limping, only a little, and it's meant to be minor, so he might be all right.
It's so shit.
That decides it, doesn't it?
That's what he said. Move, if that helps you, or probably won't, but there you go.
We will see. Okay, well, I'm gonna play it safe and assume that he can't go. Because you
very cryptic when he says we will see, won't it?
That sounds like he might play, but he doesn't want Madrid to think he'll play, kind of thing.
Yeah, it'll be the
Always.
classic. We'll see how they do in training later. He always says that as well. Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like you do.
Did anyone know what the actual injury? Did he get a knock? Did he pull up with a? Because I didn't see anything. I just found out he was
I
getting
hadn't even spotted anything during the game that made me think that he should be coming off. And then it turns out I thought maybe Stones was good, because we all saw Akanji warming up. I thought maybe Stones is just getting a half, and then it turns out that Gvardiol's come off.
Lewis said after the game that Gvardiol had a nickel before the game, so so he said it was more a precaution thing. So, but
I think it'll be all right.
Yeah. It made a lot of sense to take him out, didn't it? So that's why I'm not sure whether it's really an injury or it was, tactical.
Training tomorrow.
Let's say he's fit then. Yeah, let's say it's fit then, Mo.
Yeah, if he's fit, then it's easy. Then I think Rico goes back to the bench, and it's Diaz and Stones in the middle, Akanji on the right, and Gvardiol on the left.
Yeah, it's easy, isn't it?
It's only one of two options, really, with Ake out. So,
in terms of the defence, the other question I have is obviously Edison's been back in training, if I'm correct. Who do you?
He was on the bench today.
Yeah, who do you play on Tuesday?
Oh, Edison.
That's a very good question. That
Edison, Edison.
Sorry. It's not. Is play out. I know that Ortega's looked really good recently, and mate, that touch that he had in the box.
Oh my God.
That was honestly the most like horrible twitch, but also the greatest thing I've ever seen from a keeper in the 6-yard box. It's mad. But
I was literally playing snooker watching that, and I completely missed my shot just watching him turn like that.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, Jesus. I think realistically though, like Edison is like a level above Ortega, isn't he? Like the play out from the back from Ortega is not the same as it is from Edison.
A lot of people don't agree with you, Joe. A lot of people don't agree because I think that I'm with you. I think there is a bigger gap than people make out with the distribution between Ortega and Edison. Ortega has good distribution, but a lot of people think it's close. Well, their opinion is very close. I think the difference in distribution is actually quite night and day. I think it's significant. Huge. Edison's the best goalkeeper in the world, possibly of all time, with the ball at his feet. Yeah. That's not even outrageous.
But here's the thing, though.
Go on, Wolf.
We're in no Bozo season. No Bozo, right, LB?
Yeah, I like that.
Who's more inclined to go Bozo on us? In Madrid.
Would Edison have not just kicked the ball into Mateta if he had been in this situation? Would he have done the smart little touch? I think he just booted it straight into him.
But do you think, obviously, you're saying there's levels in comparison to Edison to Ortega in terms of distribution, but do you think that the levels in terms of Ortega's shot stopping is better than Edison's?
Yeah, I think that's equally fair.
I think over the course of a season, Edison's strengths win you more games.
Yes, yeah,
and his weaknesses cost you. But I think when you get into like knockouts, the Bozo factor comes in.
Edison's shot stopping this season has been like really improved on the previous ones, and I think that's largely Ortega is a lot to thank for that. Really giving him actual serious competition that makes him think, you know what, maybe if I start, because I think I don't know if it was like last season or it was the season before last, wasn't it, where Edison was pretty suspect in goal for a lot of
He was suspect last season. Before the run-in, he wasn't good. And they talked about Ortega taking his place, and then he stepped up. We might see the best of Edison in this run-in now when he comes back, because he's seen Ortega, doing really well on the pitch. So might see Edison from last season.
Don't forget how good Edison was. Oh, sorry, Joe.
No, go on, carry on.
I was just going to say, don't forget how good Edison was towards the end of last season, Champions League final and some other key games. He was, in fact, that was his best spell. When the pressure was on in the biggest games, Edison was at his best. Sorry, Joe.
I'm going Edison just because I think if Madrid at the Bernabeu are going to press us high and they're going to attack us, and there is no keeper that I want more in that situation than Edison, who can just play a ball to whoever he wants over the top of that front press.
But
And
I was
then,
just,
yeah,
I was thinking more of the fact though that obviously if we're talking about like defensive inconsistencies and Real Madrid potentially getting opportunities away, would you want the strongest shot stopper? But obviously, upon the conversations that we've all had, I do feel it is going to be Edison, just for that ability to play any ball that he can, really.
Well, that's what Mo was saying. Like in the Champions League, because if you think about it, in the Premier League, right, 100% Edison's your goalkeeper, because across a 38 game season, you're probably you benefit more from having someone like Edison in goal who can play out from the back. Blah blah blah. We all know the situation. When it does get to the knockout stages, and by the way, different position, but this is pretty similar when it comes to sort of Trent with England at right back. In the Premier League, you're probably going to take Trent most of the time because the little bit of shit defending he does at the back is massively outweighed by the constant goal threats that he brings you in the Premier League. When it comes to England and the knockout stages, I'm taking Kyle Walker every single day of the week because you can't afford to have that level of poor defending. It might not outweigh itself across the thing. So in the Champions League, maybe you would look at Ortega and go, maybe it is worth having him in. I mean, look at Courtois, for example, at Real Madrid, how fantastic he is. He's not the best with the ball at his feet, but he's probably the best shot stopper in world football. Probably up
that
there.
Champions League final in Paris.
Yeah, he won that.
Exactly.
Yeah, he won that.
Let me ask you a question. Anyone on the panel here, would anyone start Ortega on Tuesday? Wow, so okay, so it's 4-2. Interesting.
Just based on form, I think if Edison had played the last few games, then but I think
to be fair, it's a great problem to have, isn't it?
But
it's the same as midfield, Mauve, as well, and not so much defence, but midfield. We're all saying him. We've all got opinions. It shows how bloody good the squad is. It's amazing.
It's a nice problem to have, and it might not be the same next season if he goes.
Yeah.
I think for me though, like so we're talking about the defensive sort of side of things and like the inconsistency we've had full stop. I just want to see one goalkeeper like start the games between now and the end of the season. That is part of the defensive sort of stability. Obviously, Ortega's going to be in the FA Cup because that's like his competition. But in the league, in the Champions League, I want just one settled goalkeeper in front of a relatively settled back four between now and the end of the season. And I think for consistency's sake, you just the Edison. I don't personally think that Ortega's shot stopping is as much better than Edison's, as Edison's playing out from the back is so much better than Ortega's.
Yeah.
Do you think it's that big?
I think it's like I think there's a pretty big gap. I do. Yeah. I think Edison's massively improved since maybe like day one since he come, but I think that Ortega's shot stopping is.
I can't remember what game it was last season, but it kind of
Liverpool or Chelsea. It was at Liverpool or Chelsea in the FA Cup. Yeah.
Ortega, like some of the shots that he was saving for there, I think it was like a shot from Lewis Hall. I was just sat there thinking, Edison's never saving that.
Yeah,
just some even this season, some of the games he's played, like I can't remember what game it was, but some of the saves that he's just pulling out has kept us in games early.
Yeah, but one of the reasons I think it should be Edison is also I think when we're gonna play Madrid, I don't know who of you said it, but they're gonna press us. They're gonna try to win the tie at the Bernabeu, and I think with Edison in goal, the back line is more like secure and calm about playing from the back and withstand the press. Not because like they don't trust Ortega, but they have been playing way more hours with Edison, and they know Edison is calm and they can move around and they can give him not difficult balls, but they trust him in another way. And I just think that will bring a more calmness to the back line, which will be essential because the stadium will be cooking. So,
I think it's a record sellout for the Bernabeu, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. As well. It is. It's a record. But that's what kind of Lewis is saying there. And it's a fair point that we've not really discussed is that like the atmosphere, the intensity, I don't know Ortega's like full history. I don't know like what level of
he haven't played at the Bernabeu either, where Edison have done it quite a few seasons now, so he know what to expect.
Edison just don't give a shit, mate. You know what I mean? He can play at that stadium in America in front of 120,000 people, and the guy just wouldn't care. Big up to LB for the super chat earlier on. Says first shot on target is a goal. FC either way with the super chat. Big up to you, bro. And the poll in the live chat, fucking hell, man. I can't believe how close it is. So I put the poll in. Who would you guys start? This is YouTube only. Sorry, Twitter. Get Elon to sort this out, and maybe we can do it for you. But YouTube, who would play in goalkeeper for Madrid? 51% Edison, 49% Ortega. So people are very split on this. People are very split.
That's
With good
fair enough.
reason
They're
as
both
well.
brilliant.
Good reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, no one's going to overly complain whichever one starts, are they? No one's going to go, oh shit. Whoever starts is top draw.
I think they both have merits, don't they, to warrant either one starting. So it's kind of, 6 and 2 frees. It doesn't really matter who's going to play, to be honest.
No, absolutely. Listen, we're going to wrap up, but before we do, I just want to come to you guys on the panel. Any other things that you guys wanted to mention? Anyone wanted to speak about Haaland? Should he be dropped in a shock decision for Madrid? Any other topics you guys want to bring up before we wrap it up, man?
I was just going to say the away support today. I know there's some people who went that are watching. Absolutely amazing today. You could hear it bloody loud and clear, non-stop. So anyone that's watching, amazing, great, just brilliant.
I have a funny comment to that. So I watched the game in Danish, and the commentators in Danish, they were like praising the atmosphere at Selhurst Park because they thought it was a home crowd. But they don't know our chance. It was the way and sing. I was like, why can't you come and praise us? But they just don't know the chance. So yeah, big up to the way support. Big up.
Cool. Cool. Anything else, lads?
Crocodile or hippo?
Come on, United, right? Come on, United.
Oh shit!
Come on, United,
yeah.
Come on, fellas.
It feels wrong, but I want
don't
it.
Say
it also feels so right.
No,
don't look at it as United winning, just Liverpool losing. Love City more than hate United. That's the way.
Not much more.
Tiny
bit more.
It's like that Edison Ortega poll all over again.
Yeah.
Can we just have one game where they both lose? I mean,
I'll take a draw. Give me a draw.
I physically feel if we have
any drop points,
yeah. Like, did anyone see the Arsenal game today?
Yeah.
I'm not worried.
I didn't see it. Just saw the stats and people tweeting about it. Seems like Arsenal is cooking. They
did well. Brighton were very, very bad. Very bad. I'll put that out there. Yeah, very, very bad. But listen, Brighton, Arsenal just got the job done. That's not the game that I looked at though and said that's the one. You know what I mean? They got to play Spurs away.
Spurs.
They're the games for me.
But they're the bogey team, right? Like Brighton is Arsenal's bogey team.
Bro, did you watch it?
No, I was out eating. So
last season was shit.
Yeah, but they will turn into prime Barca against us then. That's 100%.
Douglas Luiz got yellow and he misses the Arsenal game.
Right. That's
stinks.
Yeah, but
although we did
the Villa
play
game
against,
is not.
We did play against John McGinn and Watkins though, so we've had our we've had our fortune against Villa. To be fair,
Arsenal will dispatch them with ease. Like at the Emirates, that's not the time.
I never thought I'd ever say this, but we're literally just relying on Spurs, aren't we? That's literally what it comes down to. And we've still got to factor in the fact that we have to go to that stadium and not lose.
We have to win every game.
Yeah.
It'll be a case of Spurs wins all three.
In 2 weeks' time, we play Chelsea in the FA Cup, and Arsenal and Liverpool both play that weekend. That weekend could be huge because if we all win next week and then they win that following, it's going to look.
Who do they play that weekend then? When we're going to get a game in Who do they play?
They both got home game, I think. Have they? I did look. What's that? About the 20th. I think they're both
they're playing
Fulham
against
away.
So Arsenal are away at Wolves.
Yeah.
Wolves away.
Fulham, Liverpool.
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
They go Fulham away. Fulham away.
Yeah.
No, Wolves away for Arsenal.
Yeah, but Fulham away for Liverpool. Yeah.
Yes. On the Sunday,
both those games can be tricky. Tricky.
I don't know, man. I think Fulham.
Tricky.
3 points. 3 points. 3 points for both of them.
Yeah, 5-0 each.
Yeah.
Listen,
Yeah, but
big up to you guys for jumping on today's panel. Honestly, this is probably one of the best ones we've done so far, man. So I appreciate you guys coming on, giving us your time, and hopefully you guys tuned in. Nearly 1,400 people in the end watching live. So big up to you guys for tuning in on Twitter. If you are watching on Twitter, man, please come over and give us a subscribe on YouTube, More LB and It's LB. And of course, you can follow Move at Noisy Pod on YouTube and obviously the podcast apps. Joe Butterfield, he's everywhere. He's here. He's every fucking way. What are you doing this week, Joe?
Whether you like it or not.
Where are you this week, bro? What are you doing this week, man?
City Report podcast is where I've been on recently. I think I'm probably doing another article this week for City Extra as well about the whole Cole Palmer thing. Is it a good thing or what? Is it, was letting him go? Was that a bozo moment from Pep? Who knows?
Okay, stay tuned for that one. Tone, Sai, I'm sure we'll have a couple more shows this week, so I'll get in touch with you. Big up to Luke, man. First time on the show. Cheers, bro. I hope you enjoyed it, man.
Anytime.
I appreciate you coming on. If you guys go to my... This is the viewers. If you guys go to my Twitter, I did link these guys in the comment section of their Twitter accounts. But of course, like I say, you can find Noisy Pod on YouTube and the podcast. So big up to you guys. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, smash a like. Make sure you subscribe. Big up to all the people that super chatted today. Appreciate the support as always. I'll be back tomorrow. I'm doing a watch along or pray along. Liverpool versus Man United. And then after that, I'm on with Nobbins doing an episode of L Bins. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys. I'll catch you in the next one. See you later.
See